Yeah, I'm dressed the same. I'm doing several videos right in a row. But, sometimes it's feast or famine. I won't have anything for a while, and then all of a sudden, boom, I'll have like several things to talk about, and there'll be a lot on my heart. And one thing that's on my heart right now is dealing with couples. In the religious community, specifically referencing Christian statistics, that the divorce rate is just as high, sometimes higher, than the divorce rate of non-believers. And I'm sure that this bleeds over into Messianic Nazari Judaism as well. I'm not saying that there's not ever a time where divorce is needed, such as in cases of abuse, infidelity, things of that nature. But a lot of times, couples will split over finances. They will split because they change. One lesson I learned early in my marriage is that about the 6th year of my marriage, I felt so distant from my wife, and I looked at her one time and thought to myself, who in the heck is this person? I don't remember in marrying this person. This person's not the same person I married. Then it struck me, well, duh, why should it be? We as human beings, we as people, evolve mentally, spiritually, emotionally, in order and in efforts to become better people, more Messiah-like. So change is there, and change should be for the good. Sometimes it's not always for the good, but when it's not, we deal with it. And then I thought, you know what? I'm not the same person my wife married. Our likes, our dislikes changes. I used to be a headbanger. Still like that kind of music, but I got to be in the mood for it now. But who'd ever thought that I would love the music from the 1930s and 40s? Whoever thought that I would love silent films? But yet I do. I'm not a redneck in any stretch of the imagination, but I love bull riding. I love to watch it. Who'd have thunk it, right? So that's one thing. Another thing is, a lot of times people get married when they're young. Young and stupid. They do stupid things. My wife and I are guilty of it. Young and stupid, we ran up, some debt. But thank God, we're getting out of it. But we look at that debt and we think, man, we wouldn't do that today. We're older, we're smarter, we're wiser. But yet we were young and stupid. And you know what? That debt could have been a wedge between me and my wife and separated us. Things of lesser nature has separated other people. But when my wife and I got married, we said to each other, divorce is not in our vocabulary, unless it's for reasons of infidelity. Whatever happens, come hell or high water, we're going to make it through thick and thin. We're going to take our vows seriously. Another thing, this is a little bit hard, especially with men. We go through a midlife crisis. A lot of times people think midlife crisis has happened in somebody's 50s, but you know what? It can happen as early as in your 30s. Because think about it. People don't usually live to 100. They usually live to 70 or 80. So the 30s is a good time to have a midlife crisis. That's right. What happens is when you're young, oh my goodness, you are immortal. You can conquer and take on the world. There's nothing that you can't do. And in your head and in your mind, you're so idealistic. And everything has a fairy tale ending. And you fall in love with this beautiful woman, this beautiful girl, and think, oh, I'm gonna be her knight in shining armor, and I'm gonna live happily ever after. 10 years down the road, you're sitting in your easy chair. You've developed a spare tire. You're working a menial job. And you're thinking, man, I didn't sign up for this. Where in the heck am I, and what in the heck am I doing? And you look around, and instead of appreciating, oh, I have a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, I have a roof over my head, I got food on the table, I've got clothes on my back, we think, you know what? I'm not a rock star like I planned on being. I didn't travel the world like I fully intended on doing. I'm not at the top of the corporate ladder like I planned. I haven't made my first million yet. And we become depressed and disillusioned with who we've become, and we let that depression affect our family and affect our wives. And a lot of times men will leave, not necessarily because they want a young, hotter woman, not necessarily because, anything like that, but it's just that they don't like themselves, they don't love themselves, they can't stand themselves. They're making their family miserable, and they're thinking, you know what, my family's better without me. That's a lie from Satan. And people split up. My wife and I, we say nothing ever surprises us. And it's sad to see people, close friends of ours, who've gotten married and end up being divorced, and we're like a rarity, an oddity. We're one of the few original couples from our college days, from our youth, who've stuck together. And even some people thought, oh, they're going to be together forever. They're madly in love, crazy about each other. And all of a sudden we get news that they split up. I implore you, I beg you, if you're in any of these situations, do whatever it takes to get back together. Swallow your stinking pride and go get marital counseling. If your marriage is okay and you've got the problem, go get personal counseling. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. Yes, Yeshua is our all in all. He's all we need. But you know what? The Talmud says that we are not permitted to live in a city that has no doctor. In other words, God gave people callings as medical professionals that have the know-how to help us, coupled with our spiritual lives and our spiritual leaders. The rabbis, the pastors, they can't do it on their own. There's some things in the psyche that they are unable to deal with, regardless of their spiritual training or pastoral counseling. And sometimes we need professional help, and there is no shame in that. Do it. Get it done. Come to the reality that your life is worth living, that you have a calling, and that I don't care how old you are, it's never too late to fulfill that, to take steps. My goodness, if 80-year-old men can get on CBS News just because they're going back to college, my goodness, it's not too late for you. Do what it takes to fulfill your dreams. If God has given you a dream and a calling, and you haven't done anything to fulfill it, and you find yourself in the easy chair, get off your tuchus, get off that armchair, and go follow your dreams. These are probably the same dreams you had when you got married, and your wife knew about these dreams, and she will support you. Do whatever it takes to stick together. There's too much divorce, too many kids that suffer from broken homes. Come on, wake up. Quit being so selfish and full of self-pity and pride that you let your family split up and your wife and your kids suffer because of your selfishness. Do whatever it takes to mend those broken fences and to get the marriage to where it should be, to where it needs to be, for the honor and glory of God, that you do not end up as a number in a statistic. You gotta fight this thing. Sure, life's not all roses. Life's not a walk in the park like we thought it was when we were in our teens and 20s. But you know what? That's just life. But it doesn't mean we can't have joy. The joy of the Lord is our strength. We've got enough. We've got our God. We've got our Torah. We've got our Messiah. We've got our family. We've got our friends and loved ones. It's more than enough to be happy and fulfilled. More than enough to get through whatever comes our way. Don't let that dark demon of depression and self-pity kill you and kill your marriage in the process. I implore you, do whatever it takes. We're running out of time here. Love you guys. Hope you heard my heart today. Shalom and Shavua Tov.